Yehova, please fill me with the Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name, amen. We'll start with the Shema, listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts in mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Hand, behold, nail, behold. Exodus chapter 2. A man from the family of Levi took a woman also descended from Levi as his wife. When she conceived and had a son, upon seeing what a fine child he was, she hid him for 3 months. When she could no longer hide him, she took a papyrus basket, coated it with clay and tar, put the child in it, and placed it among the reeds on the riverbank. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. The daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe in the river, while her maids and attendants walked along the riverside. Spotting the basket among the reeds, she sent her slave girl to get it. She opened it and looked inside, and there in front of her was a crying baby boy. Moved with pity, she said, "This must be one of the Hebrews' children." At this point, his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Would you like me to go and find you one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" Pharaoh's daughter answered, "Yes, go." So the girl went and called the baby's own mother. Pharaoh's daughter told her, "Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will pay you for doing it." So the woman took the child and nursed it. Then, when the child had grown some, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and she began to raise him as her child. She called him Moses, pull out, explaining, "Because I pulled him out of the water." One day, when Moshe was a grown man, he went out to visit his kinsmen, and he watched them struggling at forced labor. He saw an Egyptian strike a Hebrew, one of his kinsmen. He looked this way and that, and when he saw that no one was around, he killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. The next day he went out and saw 2 Hebrew men fighting with each other. To the one in the wrong he said, "Why are you hitting your companion?" He retorted, "Who appointed you ruler and judge over us? Do you intend to kill me the way you killed the Egyptian?" Moshe became frightened. Clearly, he thought, the matter has become known. When Pharaoh heard of it, he tried to have Moshe put to death. But Moshe fled from Pharaoh to live in the land of Midian. One day, as he was sitting by a well, the 7 daughters of the priest of Midian came to draw water. They had filled the troughs to water their father's sheep. When the shepherds came and tried to drive them away, but Moshe got up and defended them. Then he watered their sheep. When they came to Reuel, their father, he said, "How come you're back so soon?" They answered, "An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds. More than that, he drew water for us and watered the sheep." He asked his daughters, "Well, where is he? Why did you leave the man there? Invite him to have something to eat." Moshe was glad to stay with the man, and he gave Moshe his daughter Zipporah in marriage. She gave birth to a son, and he named him Gershom, foreigner there. For he said, "I have been a foreigner in a foreign land." Sometime during those many years, the king of Egypt died. But the people of Israel still groaned under the yoke of slavery, and they cried out, and their cry for rescue from slavery came up to God. God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. God saw the people of Israel, and God acknowledged them. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading Exodus 2? We can know We can know that this story begins with a Levi man taking a Levi woman as his wife. Know that when they had a son, they saw that he was a fine child. Know that she said she hid the child 3 months. When it was no longer possible that she could hide him, she took a papyrus basket, coated it with clay, tar, put the child in it, and placed it among the reeds of the riverbank. Know that his sister stood at the distance to see what would happen to him. Know that Pharaoh's daughter was bathing in the river, and it was then that she spotted the basket. Know that she was moved with pity by the baby's cry. Know that she thought this boy to be one of the Hebrew children. Know that the child's mother got to nurse her own son for the Pharaoh's daughter until he was old enough to be given to Pharaoh's daughter. Know that it was Pharaoh's daughter that named the child Moshe, Moses, pulled out, because she pulled him out of the water. Know that one day when Moshe was a grown man, he went out to visit his kinsmen, observing them struggling in forced labor. And when an Egyptian hit a Hebrew, in return, Moshe killed the Egyptian. Moshe then hid his body and returned the next day and saw the Hebrews fighting each other. Moshe tried to question them, only to be told, "Who appointed you ruler and judge over us? Do you intend to kill us as you killed the Egyptian?" Pharaoh found out about this and tried to have Moshe put to death. But Moshe fled to live in the land of Midian. Know that Moshe defended and helped the 7 daughters of the priest of Midian Reuel. Know that in return, the father gave his daughter Zipporah in marriage to Moshe, and they had a son named Gershom, foreigner there. Know that even when the king of Egypt died, the Hebrews still groaned under the yoke of slavery. And their cry came up to Elohim, and he heard them. And he remembered his covenant with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Trust that Elohim saw the people of Israel and acknowledged them. How can we love others as Yeshua loves us? We can pray and encourage others to cry out to Elohim, reminding them that he hears our prayers. Bear one another's burdens. We can defend and help those in need that Elohim places in your circle. Produce spiritual fruit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. And with the Aaronic blessing on this Shavuot, Pentecost, the time where not only the 10 Commandments, but the whole entire Torah was given to Moshe to give to the people so that he could order them to do all that was written in Torah. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah illuminate the wholeness of his being toward you, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete.